If you pay attention to the advice in this video, all of your dreams will come true. Let's explore the teachings of American motivational speaker and Hay House founder, Louise Hay. She has written numerous New Thought self-help books, including You Can Heal Your Life in 1984. It's important to love yourself and your family as a whole. Remind yourself that you have a teenager inside you, and you should embrace it. Do what you would with a little child. What were the challenges you faced as a teenager? Ask your coworkers the same question you ask your child. Assist the adolescent in overcoming the fear and anxiety that have often accompanied the onset of puberty and the years that follow. Make it all right to be in these situations. As you learn to love yourself and your child, learn to love your teenager. There is no way we can truly love and accept one another unless we have done so for our own innermost child as well. As far as I know, this is the oldest child in your body. Most of the time, the youngster is under the age of 5. Because of the child's urge to survive, this is usually when they shut down. Squeeze your child's hand and express your love for them. Give yourself and your child the best possible future. The universe will answer if you tell it, I'm willing to learn to love my child. I'm willing. You and your child will both benefit from your research. As a means of healing, we must be able to feel our emotions and move through them to the other side. Make sure to keep in mind that our highest power is always there to help us. It doesn't matter if your upbringing was the best or the worst you've ever had. Your life is now in your hands and no one else's. You have the option of blaming your parents or your upbringing for your current situation. However, all it does is keep you in a victim mindset. It's never going to get you what you're looking for. I know of no greater eraser than love. Even the most terrible memories can be erased by love, because love is more powerful than anything else. If you keep validating your memories of the past, it's all their fault. That doesn't change. What kind of life do you wish to lead? You always have the ability to make the right decision. Take a moment to look into your own eyes and embrace yourself and the little child within you. Keep in touch with our biological parents. My adolescent years were the most trying of my life growing up. I had a plethora of queries. Adults, on the other hand, were the only ones I was willing to listen to. I was determined to master everything on my own because I don't believe the adults around me when they told me what to do. I harbored a special dislike for my parents due to the fact that I was a victim of abuse as a child. My stepfather's treatment towards me was incomprehensible to me. My mother's indifference to what he was doing to me also baffled me. I was disappointed and misled, and I was convinced that both my family and the rest of the world were against me. After working with children and adolescents for many years, I've discovered that many people have the same views about their parents that I had. There are several terms that kids use to describe their feelings of being caged, criticized, watched, and misunderstood. If only we could have parents that could be flexible in any situation. This is not always possible, of course. Despite the fact that our parents are just like us, we frequently feel that they are unfair and unreasonable, and that they have no idea what we are going through. When I was working with a young man, he had a hard time relating to his father. In his mind, they had nothing in common. When his father spoke to him, it was only to make a disparaging remark. His grandfather's treatment of his father was something the young man was aware of. Prior to the young man's birth, the man's grandfather had died. I advised that he talk to his father about how his childhood had shaped him. First, the young guy hesitated to approach his father because he didn't want to risk being ridiculed or criticized by his father. In spite of this, he decided to approach his father. As soon as I met him again, the young man appeared to be much more at peace. I had no idea what kind of childhood my father had had, as he exclaimed. In the ancient days, the youngsters were to be seen but not injured, and his grandfather insisted that all of his offspring address him as sir. They were severely beaten if they said anything contrary. It's understandable why his father was so harsh of him. Many of us have the best of intentions when we have children, to treat them differently than we were treated as youngsters. After absorbing information from our environment, we eventually begin to speak and act like our parents. And if you've ever been the victim of verbal abuse from your own father, you'll know what I mean. It's possible he didn't mean to do it that way. He was only acting in accordance with the values he had been exposed to as a child. The young man, on the other hand, gained a better understanding of his father. In the end, they were able to have more open exchanges because of it. Despite the fact that it would take some time and work on both of their parts before they reached an optimal level of communication, at the very least, they were making progress. We should all take the time to learn more about the childhoods of our parents, and if they are still living, you can ask them. When you were a kid, what was your life like? What was it like to grow up in a home where there was lots of love? How were you disciplined by your parents? What sort of peer pressure were you subject to back then? Did your parents enjoy spending time with them? When you were a kid, did you have a job? Having a better understanding of our parents can help us understand why they treat us the way they do. If you can empathize with your parents and see them in a new light, you may open the door to a more loving, mutually respectful, and trusting relationship with them. If you're having a hard time even talking to your parents, start by talking to yourself. I'd like to talk to you about a matter that's been on my mind. It is my desire for you to learn more about myself This is something I do numerous times a day. If you're stuck on what to say or how to say it, this is the tool for you. In your head, talk to each of your parents and clear out any lingering resentment you may have had in the past. Forgive them and forgiving yourself. Tell them you love them, and then get ready to tell them in person how much you value them as well. A young man in one of my groups confessed to me that he was filled with rage and distrustful of people. He kept repeating this pattern of skepticism in all of his interactions. During our conversation, he revealed that he was enraged because his father wasn't the person he wanted him to be. While on a spiritual road, it isn't our responsibility to alter the other person. First and foremost, we must let go of any resentment we have against our parents. Afterwards, we must be able to forgive them for not living up to our expectations. We want everyone else to think, dress, and act like us, and we constantly strive to achieve this goal. But as you know, we are quite diverse from each other as well. In order to be able to be who we truly are, we must allow others to occupy that place. By making our parents do things they aren't capable of doing, we sever our own connection to love. In the same manner that our parents judge us, we judge our parents. If our parents want to see what we've got, we can. To begin, we must erase our own preconceptions about them. Even as you get older, many of you still engage in power struggles with your parents. Many buttons are pushed by parents. So if you want to quit participating in the game, you'll have to stop playing it. After so many years of waiting, you're finally old enough to make your own decisions. Start by addressing your parents by their first names. Get in touch with the parents. By the time you reach your 40s, you're no longer a parent or child. Instead, you've begun to resemble an adult. Write an affirmative treatment outlining the type of relationship you desire to have with your parents. Put these words into action for yourself. You'll be able to inform him or her in person after some time. As long as your mother or father is still tampering with your emotions, you aren't letting them know what's on your mind. What kind of life do you want? What's your prerogative? The right to be an adult belongs to you. I realize it won't be simple. Determine what you need first. Tell your parents what you've learned. Don't let them down. Inquire as to how we might be able to resolve this. People in our world have a tendency to degrade and despise their own selves. As Louise Hayes has stated, in order to be happy, one must first accept and appreciate one's own unique qualities and characteristics. Those who can provide happiness to themselves will bring happiness to those around them. Therefore, they must learn to accept themselves as they are, regardless of their age or stage of life. If you enjoyed the film, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below.